Hi, thanks for watching this video. This is one in a series of videos provided by Accorian related to key concepts in HITRUST certification. This video is on HITRUST certification scoping strategies. My name is Stephanie Madhok. I'm a director with the HITRUST Compliance Services Division of Accorian. Accorian is a full services cybersecurity advisory firm. We provide services in the area of security strategy and consulting, compliance services like assessment readiness and certification, as well as penetration testing, following a number of different approaches. Please reach out if you have cybersecurity needs. One of the first questions organizations may be asking themselves when seeking HITRUST certification or considering HITRUST certification is, what can HITRUST certify? Ideally, organizations are asking themselves before they're engaging with an external assessor or starting to pursue a HITRUST certification. The HITRUST assessment is designed to be flexible, accommodating scopes of differing sizes, scoping factors, reach, and the like. The HITRUST Common Security Framework is designed to apply to all sensitive information, regardless of type or regulation. For example, words, numbers, pictures, whether they're considered EPHI or payment card data or financial data, are all addressed through controls in the CSF. All types of transmission methods, whether electronic, via internal networks, over the internet, APIs, fax, email, postal service are also considered within the HITRUST assessment framework. With this in mind, HITRUST only certifies implemented systems. It does not certify organizations. It does not certify systems that are not implemented. The scoped system or platform informs the complexity of the assessment, and in the case of the R2 assessment, the total number of controls rendered in the assessment. Assessed entities determine the scope of HITRUST assessments. In identifying scope, assessed entities should consider primary scope objectives. Primary components of the implemented system can include applications, operating systems, databases, networks, and facilities. Primary scope components will be documented in the scope of the assessment in MyCSF. Assessments will also consider secondary scope components, including wireless networks, endpoints such as laptops and servers, portable media, mobile devices, access control platforms, implemented security tools, and more. Secondary scope components will be considered in the scope of assessments as identified through requirement statements. Secondary elements will be identified through items like asset inventories, population files, operational procedures, etc. Understanding that one or more implemented systems may be identified, there are many approaches that an organization may consider in defining the scope of its assessment. Organizations should first consider why they're seeking certification. What's the objective of that certification? Common reasons organizations seek HITRUST certification include internal audit requirements, such as when a senior leadership group or a board of directors seeks assurance that the whole organization or part of the organization's information security management program is effective. External requirements, such as regulatory requirements, also drive the objective of HITRUST certification. A certification may be undertaken in response to an annual regulatory compliance assessment or internal audit. Another reason would be to support the needs of business associates or third parties, such as through contractual requirements. Another is to demonstrate compliance internally, similar to internal regulatory requirements or internal audit. There may be an annual internal compliance assessment conducted by a a team reporting through the security organization, such as the governance, risk, and compliance team. Another reason might be to improve security posture or stance. When improvement of the posture of security posture is the goal, scoping may focus on internal systems, external systems, or both. In these cases, certification may not be the initial target, but may be part of a longer-term goal. Another reason is competitive advantage. Perhaps certification is sought to increase marketing prospects or sales. Another reason might be to obtain or lower the cost of cybersecurity insurance. This may be a goal in addition to a number of previously mentioned objectives. Another would be mergers and acquisitions. HITRUST certification may make an organization more desirable as an acquisition, or may be used to provide assurances during the mergers and acquisition process. And my favorite is applicable to a lot of organizations. Certification may be sought to reduce time and effort to respond to third-party risk assessments. For organizations offering products and services, third-party risk assessments are expensive and time-consuming part of doing business. Where HITRUST assessments are recognized by relying parties, a HITRUST certification or report may eliminate the minutia of responding to these assessments. For some organizations, understanding the objective of certification may help to more clearly identify a scope target. However, for many organizations, scope decisions can be complex. For these, HITRUST identified several scoping approaches. These scoping approaches are all listed in the HITRUST assessment handbook, so I would encourage everybody to go out and review these in more detail in the assessment handbook. The first is the enterprise approach. This may be useful to organizations where the entire organization operates under the same information security management program and may consider all the organization's facilities, networks, IT platforms, and underlying infrastructure. Another is the IT service or platform focused approach. This could be broken down into three different use cases. The first is a regulatory compliance use case. We've talked a little bit about regulatory compliance previously. The second is a building blocks approach. This might be used when growing IT security posture incrementally. We talked about something similar above, or when meeting contractual obligations, as noted above as well. Another approach would be the enclave-focused approach. This is similar to the IT service or platform-focused approach, but it's typically one where the organization, such as business units, network segments, or hosted environments are the focus of the assessment. The next approach is the shared IT services approach. This one focuses on some or all aspects of the organization's shared IT services. This approach may be useful when there are multiple separate assessments able to inherit from an assessed entity's centralized shared IT services. And last, there's the follow the data approach. This considers all platforms supporting infrastructure over which a certain type of sensitive data crosses. So the process of scoping that type of environment would be to sit down and map out the flow of data and review data flow diagrams. The last topic I want to mention related to scope is related to IT service providers. As implied in the shared IT service model, service providers are generally included in the scope of a HITRUST assessment. This includes internal service providers, like an IT organization that provides services to multiple business units, and it applies to external parties like cloud service providers. When scoping a HITRUST assessment, it's worthwhile to identify the service providers that are involved with the platform and whether those service providers have HITRUST or other significant security certifications, attestations, or reports like a SOC 2 Type 2. More on this in another video. But note that service providers must be included in the scope of an R2 assessment and may be carved out of an E1 or I1 assessment. Where service providers are included in scope and the service provider is not able to provide HITRUST or SOC 2 Type 2 reports, it can have an impact on the organization's ability to certify. In these cases, an R2 may not be possible until the appropriate relying report is obtained, or the organization may need to consider an E1 or I1 where the service provider can be carved out of scope. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.